guys. You gotta chill. Steak. You gotta chill. Where are you going? Where you want to feed? All right. All right. Gotta feed them before I can make the steak. There you go. There you go. So, I had to feed them before I could feed myself. That's just how the house works sometimes. So welcome back to the channel. We're doing tomahawk steak today on the outdoor pit. So I got my 2.5 pound tomahawk steak and I'm gonna put it on the fire. You know what? I'm not gonna waste nothing. So waste not, want not. I get it, it's fat. I'm gonna throw it in there just so it renders off into the pit and adds that flavor. Hey, how's it going? Neighbors just kicking it, so we out here cooking. Everybody, Canada Geese, neighbors hanging out in the back. I'm gonna use this to see how hot this sucker really is. Milwaukee temp gun, it checks heat and everything. So welcome back. So we're trying to check the steak now. So what I'm gonna do is turn the steak that way and let it render this side. So it's been about 5 minutes on one side. So we're gonna do another 5 minutes and then we're gonna turn it and just see. And this is uncontrolled heat, so this is kind of nuts. But it's still a tomahawk steak. I don't even mind if the steak has a little bit of char on it, although I do like it a little bit medium. So we're just gonna check it out and let it run. This is typically for a 2.5 pound steak. On this, I believe it's about a 20-minute cook, or at least I'm gonna cook it for 10 minutes on each side, turn it every 5 minutes, and then we'll see how this turns out. But this is Just a Rad Life, doing a tomahawk steak on the fire pit. So stick around. I guess they want to try some of this, so I'm going to use the tongs and just turn it, and I'm going to keep it in this direction. And wow, I got too much of a char on that, but I'm pretty certain I can get it off. Definitely got too much of a char on that. So I'm going to cut the time back on it, but I'm not going to stop cooking. So that's some pretty intense heat. So I'm going to turn it to the right on this one now. I'm going to hold it and hit the side. Just want to make sure all that fat renders off and it's nice and juicy. So look at that perfect texture that we've got on the steak, and that color is really nice. Not really able to check it because that flame is just so uncontrollable. So what I'm going to do is just hold it with the tongs and get that fat from the outside on how the steak was marbled, just to render into the skillet. It's not bad. I'm going to turn that. Hold it. Make sure that runs through. That is some crazy color though. And this steak, look how flimsy it is. So that's really doing its thing. I'm gonna see if it can stand up like that while it does its thing. And that's cooking at about 550 degrees right now, which is really cool. But I want that fat to burn off and get into the skillet And that way, all that flavor and everything just dances and does its own thing. I wish you guys could smell the steak right now. I can't wait to eat into this. Like, yeah, look at that. So, just gotta manhandle it a bit. Just so we get all that flavor and everything cooked. It's still red on the inside, so I'm gonna leave it like that for a bit, just to kind of char. I'm gonna get the butter, and I'm gonna get the thyme, and I'm gonna get the rosemary just to put on this and just let it dance and soak in. I know it's still a little pink, but I like it like that. So we got the rosemary. I'm gonna throw a big of rosemary, and then we got the thyme. I'm gonna break this. It's a pretty big piece. So I'm gonna leave that on top. Then I'm gonna add about 1/3 of butter. So we got the rosemary, the thyme, and the unsalted butter on that first piece. Ooh, that's nice and juicy. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna take them off, put them to the bottom of the skillet, and then I'm just gonna turn it. Ooh, that got a little nice char on it. That's actually a well done steak. So I'm gonna take some more butter, some more rosemary, and thyme. Ooh, that's blazing up, nice and nice. And I'm gonna put that on top of the steak and just let that sizzle. You can hear that sizzle. So that's really doing its thing now. So I'm gonna let that soak in, and now I'm gonna add the garlic to it. Now that I know the butter and everything's soaking, so add a little garlic to the top, and I'm gonna soldier it. So left, right, a little bit of garlic to the skillet and get it in. I'm gonna hold it, so threw a little bit of garlic on it. Now I'm gonna turn it again. But I also wanna make sure I keep rosemary and thyme up here, and you can just see this thing dancing. Oh, good. This thyme, and it's just got beautiful color to it. I think I've gotten rid of some of the pink. There was a side that was a little more charred than the other. I don't business about that, because a tomahawk steak to me is like a roast. And you know, when you're roasting, some people like it well done, some people like it medium, some people like it raw. So that's what that is. So I'm gonna add a little bit more garlic to it on the top, and just, oh, I wish you could smell that. That smell is nice. So a little bit of garlic to it on the top, and we've already got the butter going, the rosemary and the thyme. Man, that smells good. I can't wait to taste it. Put that in there so I know when to wash it. So yeah, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to side cooking it. And then just to make sure we render off all that fat and the flavor just soaks in, so I'm gonna turn it. And yeah, it was a little charred before. You know, I know you saw that in the video, but you know, like I said, tomahawk steak, I can't control the temperature, but what I can control is how it tastes. You know, and some people like it a certain way, so that's what we do. And I'm the only one that eats steak in the house, so this might be my weekend breakfast, a little steak and eggs as well, is making it with stuff. But I'm gonna give this, because the temperature is kind of dying down on the fire, which is good. And I'll do another temperature check right now as that sizzles with the herbs on top and just gets everything in there. It's in there. So the flavor and everything is just doing its thing, man. And the tongs are really useful for this. So this is the outdoor cook pit, and we are doing tomahawk steak. So I'm gonna throw something a little extra into the mix. We got some taters, which is some Irish potatoes that we cubed up, and we sort of just did real quick. I'm gonna do those on the skillet with a little Italian seasoning and ground black pepper and salt, and put the skillet over and just show you how cool this is to cook with. So just bear with me a second. Just gonna double check it. All right, so we're ready to plate this bad boy. And I thought one of the sides was gonna be more burnt because of the intense heat, but it's not. So that's plated. I'm gonna let that sit in the oven for about 15-20 minutes, just so everything just kind of soaks in and it shows all that love to the food. And then we're gonna eat it. But I'm gonna do the potatoes first, and then we'll get to the eating side soon. but this smells good. Tomahawk steak on an outdoor cook pit. All right, so one of the beautiful things about this skillet is, let me get the oil off. Whoa,
Ooh.
that ketchup, fire burn. I mean, no business though. Don't try that at home. Rub off that. All right, so we're gonna add a little olive oil to the skillet. Just kind of re-season it. And I'm gonna add some garlic. It's not want not. I had some extra taters in here. So I'm gonna throw some taters on the skillet. We call them Irish in Jamaica, but in the South they call them taters. So I'm kind of doing a love thing between the South and Jamaica right now. So taters, Irish, they're potatoes, man. Either way. The Irish on the opposite side of the skillet. Give it a nice brown color. And these are gonna be enjoyed with the steak. So we're doing some tomahawk steak and potatoes, I guess, if you will. You know? I'm just gonna shove those to the side. Let them bubble for a bit. And see where it takes us from there. But, like I said, waste not, want not. There was some extra stuff. Whoa, watch that sizzle up. Turn that. Let me do an internal temperature check on this now. Give me a second. So the tire iron is 430. And the skillet is 429. So they're relatively close. So we're right in range. You know, and the steak is doing its thing. The steak is just chilling out. So I'm just gonna let this bubble where the highest heat is. Just so it can char, and then I'm gonna bring it to the lowest heat. That way it stays good. I'm gonna get another plate for it and get it ready for consumption. So again, you're just soldiering it, the hottest part of the flame to the least hottest part of the flame, left to right. This is the least hottest part of the flame, but you can see those potatoes are cooked. They were already pre-cooked. I just thought I'd throw them on the skillet. So we had already done those inside, but I figured I'd throw that into the mix because alright, so the Irish and the taters got their nice color. I'm just gonna put them on a side plate to enjoy with the steak. Probably add a little salt and pepper on top of them just to taste. But they probably already might have a little bit of it. So, you know, this is just a functionality of an outdoor pit. And this is how we do it, so. That's my taters and Irish right there. My Irish taters. See it? Alright, so there's another red piece. It's good, it's chewy. I like my steaks like this. If you don't, you can cook it a little longer. Doesn't matter to me. But this was really cool. I did a tomahawk steak on my outdoor cook pit because these things ain't cheap. So, thanks for checking my video. Bye for now, and walk good.